Nigeria continues to pride itself as one of the topmost football playing nations in the continent. But when it comes to having the right facilities to support emerging talent, I must tell you, Nigeria is mostly nowhere to be found. We saw the last Africa Cup of Nations and we saw the Super Eagles flourish playing in some of the best surfaces in Morocco. But this time, we are looking at ways at which the comatose state of a Stadia can be revamped to become suitable for any both CAF and FIFA international tournaments. On this note, we're being joined by foremost pitch experts, groundman as they call him, Monimichelle Ebi Egbe, the CEO of Monimichelle Sports Facility Construction Company. Ebi Egbe, it is a pleasure to have you join us on the show once again.
Thank you very much, man. Matthew. So it's a pleasure talking to you guys, man.
Yes, Monimichelle, the focus remains the state of Stadia in Nigeria and the way forward. What can we do differently to be able to get a significant improvement in repositioning not only the playing surfaces, but the states of our sport facilities, most importantly, the stadia?
Well, Matthew, we must be very appreciative for the governors who are taking their time to make sure they work on constructing stadiums to support the existing ones, even though the existing ones are not being maintained. But there's something I want us to understand. Our parents does not make a stadium. The most important part of any stadium you're constructing is the pitch. It's important for us to always concentrate on doing what is right on the pitch, because the pitch is what has been causing us problems in Nigeria, and not the stadia. Go to Akpabio Stadium, fantastic stadium, but natural grass pitch, does it support Nigerian style of play? No. Nigerian style of play is European style of play. It's pitch football. Everybody knows in the world that natural grass does not support pitch football. Even the game, the AFCON they played in Morocco recently, all the pitches were all hybrid pitches, for speed football. Speed football supports Nigerian style of play. So sometimes when I see these things on TV and people who don't have knowledge about groundsmanship go on TV and start making statements, it just make me wonder, where are we going? Where are we going? We need to be able to construct pitches that support Nigerian style of play. Super Eagles not qualifying for the World Cup. I don't blame the players. We don't have the right infrastructure to support these guys. These are people who have been trained to play speed football. You bring them back home to come and play on a slow-paced pitch. You can never get the best out of them. I've been talking about this for the past 10 to 15 years. Nobody wants to listen. It has cost us 2 World Cup. And the way things are going now, again, if we're not careful, we're never sure if we're going to make the next World Cup, because we're not prepared. We're constructing 16,000 capacity stadium in Port Harcourt. Is good for the country, because the pitch we're constructing here is a hybrid synthetic pitch. It's a sustainable pitch that works for Africa. We can't keep copying what is in Europe, what is in Morocco. Even Moroccans too have realized that natural grass pitch is a problem. That's why they use hybrid for the AFCON. We can't be going back in time. Yes, in the pitch categorization, natural grass pitches are all the best. But you see that technology have mimicked natural grass pitches in terms of 21st century football. And that's what I'm always trying to tell Nigerians. Look at, we've been doing natural grass pitches for how long? Ogbe Stadium, natural grass pitch. Before commissioning, beautiful green. Nicely manicured. What's happening there now? You can't play a game there. Stephen Keshi Stadium, the same thing. Lagos Salami Stadium, the same thing. These natural grass pitches, we don't have the culture to support these pitches. And I say this all the time. You can't just say you're growing green grass, you cut it, and then you line it and you take a picture and say you've done a good pitch. No, it's the end users that are going to tell you if you've done a good job. I'm a contractor, and I've always been saying this. It's not Monimichelle that will tell you that we've done a good pitch for you. It's the end users, the players, the coaches. These are the people who are going to use that field. They're the people who are going to tell you the foot comfort, the foot comfortability, the ball bounce, the ball roll. These are the people who are going to tell you this contractor have done a good job. Not administrators, not contractors.
Yes, Monimichelle, we have these facilities scattered across the country. Let's talk about the state of the Abuja National Stadium as well as the National Stadium in Lagos. What can be done differently to bring this edifice back to the way it should be? Because I think if we're able to look at 7 key stadia across the country and put them in the proper perspective, the way they should be, then we can begin to say we want to host the Africa Cup of Nations or other key international tournaments. What's your take on this?
Well, Matthew, it worries me. It's sometimes I feel ashamed that in Nigeria we keep talking about just one stadium approved by CAF. But we have, Matthew, look, apart from the National Stadium in Lagos, we have a lot of fantastic stadiums in Nigeria. National Stadium in Lagos, all we have to do there, I've been telling Nigerians that wants to listen. This is my sector. I am not an administrator. This is what I've been doing for over 2-3 decades. The National Stadium Abuja, we can go there, have a look at it, do an integrity test on the structure. If the integrity test comes back and it says pass, that stadium can be renovated in less than 6 months. Make sure your VIP area is 100%. Make sure your auxiliary facilities to meet CAF standard are there. Make sure your floodlight, your scoreboard is working. Make sure you bring in your high-back seats as approved by FIFA and concentrate on your pitch. That stadium will come back to life. I am Monimichelle. I'm saying this today. If the government calls me and say, Monimichelle, what can we do with this stadium? I'll go there. I'll scan that stadium. I'll do integrity tests. I'll do everything. I'll do integrity tests even on the floodlight pole. I'll tell you if we can work or if we can't work. If it can work, I'll prepare a bill for them. Let them hold my neck if I don't finish that stadium. Sometimes when I say this thing, they say because Monimichelle is a contractor. You don't construct a natural grass pitch and leave it there for 20 years. It's not done anywhere in the world in our sector. Maximum 2-3 years, you have to do regrassing because the earth moves. And when the earth moves, it creates undulation. When you stand on the terraces or you stand on the track and look at the field, every green is a green, but every green is not a green for football. Akwa Ibom State government have to take the bull by its own. They have one of the best stadium in Nigeria. If they don't work on the pitch, that stadium will become like Abuja National Stadium because no big game will go there. And we are constructing pitches that are going to have FIFA Quality Pro certification for elite football. So Augusto Akpabio Stadium is good for it to remain what it is, but they need to upgrade the pitch to 21st century pitch that supports Nigerian style of speed football. The pitches I'm constructing supports Nigerian style of speed football. So they need to step up their game. That pitch needs to be renovated. I don't have to be the contractor, but bring the best guys to handle that pitch. Don't play to the gallery.
Ebi Egbe, before I let you go, let's talk about the administrative parts. We build up to the NFF elective congress in the month of September, but as it stands today, it's obvious that it's going to be a one-man show. Ibrahim Gusso, on your mandate, we shall stand. It's obvious that that is the songs on the mind and the lips of most of the state FA chairman at this time, who forms the nucleus of the voting delegates. What's your take on this and the trajectory for Nigerian football beyond the month of September 2026?
There's a lot of court cases going on. Even though sometimes the judicial system does not really support things that can make this country change. Me and you will agree that they're not doing the right thing. We need an expanded Congress for the NFL. That's the only way we can get the best brains to come in. You can't allow only 37 or 38 or 36 FA chairmen to decide who your president is going to be. That's not right. Nigeria is a big country. We have 200 million people. We have different federations around the world, 36 states. Let's have an expanded Congress with minimum at least 200, 300 congressmen to pick the best brains to run our football. Right now, I can tell you for free that no, I'm not happy with what's happening in the system. We lost out in 2 World Cups. We're struggling, always struggling to win games at home. Our guys who are running our football today have to understand that, they're playing with the minds of over 200 million people. I'm one of them. I'm not happy, because we're not in the World Cup. We're changing Nigerians who will have made millions from marketing from the World Cup. So it's not good for us, So expanded Congress is what I stand for. I don't believe that this election they're going to do is going to be free and fair. So expanded Congress is what I stand for. Just like Shego Tegbami and Baribota and Alice Jala, I strongly stand by that.
Ebi Egbe, CEO, Monimichelle Sports Construction Facility Limited. Thank you very much for your time. An interesting conversation is being, and we hope that those in authority will truly listen and do the needful. Thank you very much for your time with us on the show.
Thank you, Matthew. Thanks for having me, man. Thank you. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, back to the studio. Tonu Bani, we just had Monimichelle, an expert, saying it the way it should be said, that we must be willing to do things differently, talking about bringing technology into playing surfaces, and also individuals having the political will to do what is right as far as our sports facilities are concerned.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate, as in Monimichelle, one of the very few brains that we have, when you talk about pitches and, of course, ones that meet the standard of CAF and FIFA. But do we have the officials who listen to him? Do we have officials that also can go with him? Most times, when Monimichelle does his business, that there will always be calls for him to bend the place and then get things so that the other officials, will have something to go with. And of course, sometimes it ends up in us not having, the standard that CAF and FIFA, truly desires. It's very, very sad, that we have reduced ourselves, to a country that, is always chasing medals. We chase medals and then we don't talk about the infrastructure, because all we know is just for us to be participating. Anywhere there is any competition that is going on, Nigeria comes first in registering and then trying to get honors. And all these honors they want to get is just for a selfish reason, because what they wanted to do is just to use it and present to Mr. President. Nobody is thinking about infrastructure. If you're looking at the TV, Matthew, you can see how rotten,
the National Stadium,
how ugly it is. This is, National Stadium. And of course, the two that we have, they call National Stadium, one in Abuja and then, the foremost one in Lagos. There is no one that is, can host anything. I think it's really very sad. We've seen Morocco. We've seen some other countries. They are not talking about medals. They don't want to win trophies. They want to start from home. And starting from home, Matthew, is developing the facilities that are up to standard.